Hey everyone, it's Ethan. I'm back, and this is the opening act, the show where I bring you awesome new bands to listen to. Still haven't gotten a haircut since the first episode 2 months ago, but nonetheless, I'm back and ready to rock with 3 new bands, so let's jump right into it. The first band of the day is a progressive arena rock band from Colorado. This is INNERSPACE. They've got a lot of epic sounding songs, and their videos always have those cool thematic visuals tying everything together. I really like these guys because they take their craft a step further than just the music. As you'll hear in an interview segment coming up, they're a band that really has something to say, and they make certain unique artistic choices to say those things. But who better to talk about that than the artists themselves? Here's a segment of the interview that my brother Grant and I did with INNERSPACE.
One of the questions you had listed here was, what messages are you trying to spread with your music? And I think that's super relevant to this album. A lot of what the theme is about is mass extinction, environmental crisis, and what's going on right now, and the impact that we're having on the planet as a species. The album's supposed to be sort of a tribute to all of the species that we've lost, due to our impact on their habitats. And you'll hear some of the samples of them, the songs of those animals in the songs as a part of the song itself.
So we're sort of releasing all the instrumental, or not all, but most of the instrumental tracks, which are sort of interludes in the concept album. This next one is called Dusky Seaside Sparrow. We have an animated video for it.
Oh, sweet, dude. Can you tell us a little about the animation in that?
The Dusky Seaside Sparrow is an extinct bird that used to live in salt marshes in the southeast United States. And one of the few recordings of the bird's song is we used it in the track. And so you can hear it in there. That's how all the instrumental songs work on this album, and that's sort of how the theme is put together.
Yeah, this was a super ambitious interview with all 5 members of the band, but I think we pulled it off really nicely, so if you'd like to see the whole video, I'll put the link to it in the description. I told them during the interview, I was like, thank you for using your musical platform to spread messages that everyone needs to hear. The need to conserve the environment and protect wildlife only grows greater by the day at this point, and don't let anyone tell you that it's a political issue, because it's not. It affects everyone on the planet. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox and talk about the next band of the day. Next up, we have a band that I think will have widespread appeal for fans of alternative and pop music alike. They combine a lot of different influences: prog rock, math rock, post-hardcore, indie, pop, all into one cohesive package that you can really jam to. This is Little Geronimo.
Falling on the kickback, oh, one day I'll probably wake up and I'll grow. You honestly make me glow. I wanna know the price you'd give. I wanna know what it is. You honestly make me glow. I wanna know.
As you can see, they make super fun, groovy music that just gets stuck in your head. They're a great band if you want a little bit of that post-hardcore flair that you'll find with bands like Coheed and Cambria or like Kurt Travis, but you still want your music to be chill and easy to listen to. I got an interview with Brandon and David, the vocalist and drummer for the band. Here they are talking about how they met and developed their sound. How did you guys meet and get it all started?
Me and David met in line for a Circus Survive show, actually, and he was just in front of us, and I just kind of like struck up a conversation with him, and then we started talking about like different kinds of music we like.
Just make all this
eventually it led to sending tracks back and forth, and I remember like Change was like just kind of recorded at the time, and then you know, David ended up coming in and like adding drums on it. So Change is kind of like where that whole, like the whole band kind of started, really.
Waiting, if you change what you focus on with your mind.
Because the drums are playing such like intricate and unique rhythms, I feel like it really adds a lot to the song. Can you guys talk about like how you decide on some of the rhythms and the song structures that you throw in?
Yeah, I mean, without that, like, especially Change is pretty much just like a pop song.
Yeah.
So I think like we really like utilize that kind of like mathy progressive stuff to kind of like give it an edge from just generic pop music.
Change was a song already, and it was like very much like way more like a pop song. And then when David put drums on it, it became like a Geronimo song. That's kind of where the style was kind of created to me, because it was more poppy in the beginning.
And it's the drums especially are really like a collaborative effort.
So yeah, that was just a solidly fun and informative interview throughout, and if you'd like to see the whole thing, I'll link to that in the description as well. And next up, we have the first ever solo artist to be featured on the opening act. He's got an EP coming out later this year, and I'll play the first single from it. This is DADISMAN.
Wake up every morning, breathing bleach, make my bed, wash my teeth, brush my face, check my smile, and not give up, fold my clothes, don't get dressed, water, cereal, breakfast, think of how I'll be by the time I can leave. Will I talk badly at the table, fall asleep during the movie, make funny faces and have good ideas for saving money? I don't know, but I've been told to clean my gun, shoot my...
Sounds like a revival of like Everclear and Eve 6, that sort of 90s radio rock sound that used to be really big. I love it, and I loved this single as soon as I heard it. His EP is going to explore a lot of other sounds as well, so that's pretty exciting. I got an interview with this artist as well. Here he is talking about how he got into making music. Check it out.
I made my way through the whole like worship music stuff because that's what my parents listened to, and then got into heavier and heavier music, and then started making my own music. And my first workspace, audio workspace, was this audio editor that came in this bundle my parents bought. It's like Roxio 2009. So like really basic. The reverb was really trash, and I think you could max out at like 4 or 5 tracks. The last couple of years I really started to dig in and figure out how to, you know, do mixing and stuff. My job is I work at a Catholic prep school in Phoenix. I'm the A2, the second audio guy who works for all the events and the musicals and stuff.
Would you say your live mixing experience helped you learn how to produce better in Logic?
Yeah, 100%. You can just like organize and like send all your tracks to like effects and stuff. And I didn't understand how any of that worked. So I had like a billion tracks in Logic. And then when I started doing live mixing, I learned what buses actually were supposed to do. And it's like, oh yeah, you can just like send one thing or like 10 things to one thing and it'll do it to all 10 of those things. I was like, that's amazing. He's like, yeah, you can do it in here too. And so it made my life a lot easier.
Here's what he had to say about his latest single, Better.
I actually, you know, Better was the first like, just get music out there, like do your best, don't stress too much, have a good time, single. I put a lot of stress on myself initially, trying to make like the perfect song or the perfect accessible music. But I just said, you know what, I'll just make something and have a good time while doing it and just put it out there. And so that's what I did.
Something that's really cool about this episode is that all 3 of today's featured artists have new albums or EPs coming out this year. And I'm going to be keeping you guys notified about when those albums are dropping on my Instagram. I'm also going to be using the Instagram account to post outtakes from these interviews moving forward, because there's always a lot of cool and interesting moments that I'm just not able to put in these videos. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I've got a whole lot more content coming out on this channel very soon. I've already got all 3 interviews booked for episode 3, so I just got to do a whole lot of editing. But if you like what I'm doing, then the most helpful thing for me is if you could subscribe to the channel. I know it's cliche, but it really does help more than anything else that I could ask you to do. And hopefully we can grow this channel so that it becomes an asset for a lot of new bands who deserve a lot more exposure. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you all next time.
Movie, make funny faces and have good ideas for saving.